Do we create our future? Are we holding on to pain? Does pain help us or hurt us? Who really knows? Can we move forward? And then how in the world do we, with that on board? I think we all want to know a little bit more about this, so you might want to hang around for this episode today, because if you don't know where you're at the Erin Strayer Show. This is where we uplift and leverage amazing female entrepreneurs that are out there in the world doing things just a little bit differently. And I cannot wait for you to meet our guest today. She's amazing. But I'm Erin Strayer. I'm an accelerated business strategist, growth consultant, and interventionist. And I help recovering corporate females discover their Atta Girl again and step back into how they're going to impact the world a little bit different. Let's talk about this lady. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show, Erin. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to talk about you right in front of you. I hope you don't care.
Okay.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. You guys know the rules. If you're with us, make sure you say hello. Share this video out. We're going to be talking about some really cool self-love things today, because this is the summer of self-love. And I'm super excited Cheryl's on here today. So Cheryl, I'm going to read off my paper so I don't get it wrong.
Oh, it's fine.
Are you okay with that?
I do it all the time.
She is a relationship and transformational coach, heart math coach. We're going to talk about that because I want to know more about that. She's a conversation and assertiveness coach, and she's a fellow live streamer with me. I'm super excited about that. Her expertise lies in the power of perception, and her inspirational workshops and coaching are for those who are searching for a better relationship in their business, in their personal life, or with themselves. Her only job is to help you discover and release the things that are holding you back from living your life you deserve. Wow. She's got a whole bunch of degrees behind her, too. I know. She's like, oh, shucks.
I love that. I love that, and I just say, I'm just a relationship coach. I just have all these certificates and degrees and all this stuff, but it really comes down to that relationship, whether that relationship is you in your business life, whether that relationship is you and your family, or whether it's you and yourself. Yeah. It's all relationship.
Yeah. And I'm like super excited today because, you guys, as we're going along here, I love gold nuggets. So if you're hearing them, drop a little hashtag gold nugget. But like the gateway to self-love, like you have the secret, like the little secret sauce behind there, don't you?
It is a little secret sauce, but it's out there. And sometimes it's so simple that it's hard for us to really wrap ourselves around it. Simple in thought or process, but not necessarily easy to do. We got to do the work. We got to get in there and do the work.
Yeah. And, so many times that's the hard part, right?
Yes.
Like, where do you start? How do you know what to work on first? How do you know you even need help? Because we got it all covered.
Well,
like, how do we know that we're like holding ourselves back?
Well, normally what I talk to people about with this is when we talk about, does our future or does what we're doing create our future? And so that's a place where you can know that something's holding you back. Because if we're living in a space of pain, we're living in a space of just kind of dragging around all of those challenges that have happened to us in our life, and we haven't let them go. We haven't set that baggage down. I use this analogy all the time, forgiveness, and ready to move through that process. And when we do, we just feel lighter. And it's the experience of that lets you know, because your question, coming back to what you said, is how do we know? And most of the time, we know when we've actually moved through this process and we go, oh my goodness, I didn't even know I was carrying all that around with me. I feel so light.
Like, and at the time, we're like, oh my gosh, my back hurts. Like, you don't even know why your back hurts.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I must have
Exactly.
twisted my ankle going down the step. Right? We blame so many other things.
Well, it is easier because it's living in that reality. And once again, that's what we're talking about is does our past create our future or create that reality that we live in? And I like to, when I talk about this, I like to use the analogy of, yes, our past does create our future. It creates our reality. Because when we think about, let's think about a situation where, let's say, two or three people experience the exact same situation.
So, like siblings.
Yes. Or
Yeah.
let's just say, it's traffic. Let's use something simple.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's say we're driving in the car and there's traffic and there's somebody darting in and out and passing us and whatever. There could be three people and they're going to have three different reactions to that, depending on where they're coming from. What is the baggage that they're carrying with them, or what have they let go and they're living in a different reality? Because I know, I'm just going to be really, really super honest. I used to be one of those people that would be like, what's wrong with these people? and and then, as I move through this process of moving into forgiveness, moving into letting the things from my past go, allowing myself to move into true forgiveness, which allows you to turn that situation into wisdom, and it gives you a different perspective on life. You actually live in a different frequency. You just resonate a different energy. And so now when that happens to me, I just send them love. And I say, oh my, they must be in a hurry. Oh, let's keep them safe because they're being a little crazy. And it doesn't affect my energy. You know what I mean?
I'm going to stop you for just a second.
That's fine.
That's so key, that awareness.
Yes.
Of that. And like when you were saying, I just send them, I'm like, you just send them a drive-by. Send them a drive-by wish. Like,
yes.
Girl, I hope your day gets better.
Yes.
And you were like doing all the little dancing in your seat over there while you were talking. I'm like, she's just sending them good stuff, And you had mentioned that it totally raises. Did you say raise the vibration, or did I just put those words in your mouth? I don't know.
So raise the vibration, raise the frequency of where you are, of how you resonate your energy out to the world.
Yeah, and it completely changes everything, right? It changes your view of yourself. It changes how you view that situation. It changes how you're going to go through the stoplight. It changes how you're going to let people merge in front of you. And hey, we're coming down to one lane here.
Yes. And so many times, and it just depending on where we are in our view of reality and our view of perception, because perception orders reality. And, we get opened up to different truths as we learn more, as we allow ourselves to be willing, to be open. And I say those words very purposefully, allow and willingness, because that is so much the key. You're asking for that secret sauce. This is part of that secret sauce, is to allow and be willing to learn, to understand that there's always going to be something that we can learn.
Yeah, let's stop there for a second too, and just like let that land, that allowing and being willing to learn as being like step one, right? Like of this secret sauce, this gateway to self-love, this moving into forgiveness, so that we can
Yes.
be better at what we do. Yeah. So we've allowed it and we are willing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that, maybe we're hanging on to like traffic situation. Clearly I'm angry. Clearly I'm resentful. Yeah. Clearly I'm
there's something to look at there, because yes, the way we react, that is how we know. Because when we discuss a situation or talk about something that may have been a challenge from our past, if
Mm-hmm.
we haven't moved through the lesson it came to teach us, first of all, we'll tend to repeat it until we get it, because that's why it's happening, because there's something for us
Because
to
we haven't
learn.
learned the lesson yet, so we get to try it
Yes.
another
We
way.
get to try it another way. Exactly. And so recognizing those things and understanding that when we talk about these situations, what is it doing to our energy? What's happening within us? Is it stirring up weakness? Is it stirring up fear? Is it stirring up anxiety? Is it causing this type of stress in our energy system, in our body? Or are we able to speak about it like we're talking about an ice cream cone?
Yeah.
You know, I don't, or like this pen. I don't have any attachment to this pen. I have no attachment to it. I can live without it. It doesn't ignite any type of those feelings within me. And so when that is ignited, that's a trigger for you that, ooh, there's something for me to pay attention to here. There's something for me to learn. There's a process here for me to move through this pain, because so many times what we do is we just stuff it down. We stuff it down, and you stuff down the pain, and you stuff down the pain. And guess what happens? And I love that you're talking about summer of self-love, because guess what happens when we stuff it down? It's going to manifest itself in some way. And if it's all stuffed inside, well, that's where it's going to happen, because it needs to come up and out and disperse.
Just standing for you guys. Like, how many other people, I want to know in the comments, how many other people have had this kind of situation that you've stuffed it down and stuffed it down, and now it's starting to manifest, right? What are some of the physical symptoms of stuffing it down, Cheryl?
Well, I mean, it could show up in any way. It depends on what it is, where that energy, where that emotion lies, because, we could get into Chinese medicine and all that. We're not going to do that. But, as far as, where certain emotions lie in different organs of the body.
Yes.
And that is, that's kind of with stuffing these emotions down, they're going to land in a specific area. Just off the top of my head, I could say anger. Stuffing down anger, being angry, that tends to be an area of the liver. That's where that energy tends to go. That's not my area of expertise, so I want to throw a disclaimer out there. But just as an example, throwing that out.
Right, but I know personally, and I'll just go ahead and talk for you here for a second. I know when I don't pay attention and I stuff things down, and then they become physical, which is why we're in this summer of self-love. I'll just throw that out there, be super transparent. So all kinds of injuries have started happening. I twisted my ankle. I threw out 2 bones in my foot. It threw off my gait. Now my back is out of alignment. Now it's shooting up all the way through, right? Like, it's just a progress. And it just progresses and progresses and progresses because I haven't paid attention.
And it's making itself known to you.
And it's going, hey,
pay attention to me.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Other things like weight gain, like your hair falling out, your skin becomes all kinds of combobulated, your digestive system goes crummy.
Yeah, well, stress and just stress in itself can cause that. I mean, stress is it's just so unbelievable what it can do to the body.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's just so back to the awareness and back to the knowing and the holding on. How do we deal with that challenge?
Well, normally when we're talking about this and we're talking about forgiveness, because that's what we're talking about, and most of the time the hardest thing is forgiving oneself. Yeah. That's the big one. It can be easier to forgive those around us. But what we're really doing, and forgiveness is always about yourself. But until we realize that, sometimes we just want to dig our heels in and say, no, what they did to me was not okay. And I'm not going to forgive. Not understanding that all you're doing is growing a poison tree inside of yourself. And so what I normally say to people with forgiveness is I say, now, nobody wants to forgive. You
Right.
want to forgive.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's to push it first. It really is a push it first, because it's not a natural thing to do. It's not it's your perception of what forgiveness is. And so when we shift that around into understanding, well, I don't want to grow a poison tree inside of myself. I want to be a peaceful, loving person. And so normally what I say to start with is gratitude. Gratitude is the best place to start, because when we can at least just think of 3 things. That's what I tell people. When you wake up in the morning, think of 3 things that you're grateful for. And it can be as simple as, wow, that pillow was comfy last night. Or, wow, the sun is shining and I hear the birds. And, oh, it doesn't have to be big things. It's simple little things.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing shifts your energy quicker than gratitude. Yeah. Anytime that you're feeling, go ahead.
I was going to say, no, is gratitude, in your opinion, is gratitude and thankfulness different?
Well, I don't know. I guess it would depend on your definition. It would depend. I myself would say no. I would say that gratitude is gratitude. Thankfulness is, I see them together, but it would depend on the person's definition of those two. So once again, perception orders reality, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if I perceive those two to be the same, therefore they're going to be the same in my energy. I'm going to treat them like they're the same.
Interesting. So gratitude is huge. And I practice that too, the 3 things in the morning. And most of the time it's before my feet ever hit the ground.
Yes.
I lay there, I'm waking up, I'm like, oh, yay, thank you. I'm breathing today. I'm thankful for my schedule today. Whatever those 3 things are.
Yes.
Whatever, today's the last day of school, yay, whatever those 3 things are. And for me, they're always even before my feet hit the ground. And then that's and then it just pours out throughout the rest of my morning and my routine in the morning. And I feel that once I get to my to my office, I feel that kind of stops, because I'm so focused in. And I feel like for me personally, I need to take a break in my day and write 3 more things. I should have it scheduled, 11:15, write 3 things, just to kind of bring me back.
Yes. I do understand. Yes, I understand what you're saying. And that is a good plan, because what I do is I don't necessarily write 3 things, but I'll stop while in the middle of what I'm doing. I'll just stop, if I'm just sitting here in my office working, and I will just, I'll actually turn to my other computer, but it's not on. And I will just focus in and just breathe, bring in that energy, ground myself, and be thankful. And you could just feel your energy shift. And I'd like to go back to what you said about before your feet hit the ground. And that is so important, because when we start out with those positive thoughts of gratitude, we create positive momentum behind our day. We're creating momentum, because that is the thought that's going on. It works exactly the same way if we have negative thoughts in the morning. It doesn't care. It's just energy. You know what I'm saying? If we say we get out of bed and we stub our toe, and then the comb won't go through my hair, or I get in the shower, oh, I don't have any of my facial cleanser. And boom, you start getting this negative momentum behind you. By the time you get to work, you're just like, I want to crawl back into bed.
You hit every stoplight. You can't find
absolutely.
A parking spot. Broke your shoe on the way in.
Everything, because you've created this. You've got this momentum going, and now it's got some steam. It's got some steam behind it. And so, what I love to talk to people about is how easily we can shift that Because my tagline for my business is, you're only one thought away, dot, dot, dot. I let people finish the sentence. Because you're only one thought away from shifting that energy. It's a thought. All of that stuff, creating all that crazy chaos, is just a thought.
I love that.
And so we
And
can
it's so
stop
true,
and breathe.
too. Yeah, and we navigate that ourselves. It's a choice.
Yes, comes down to choices. That's the other big thing that I talk about, are choices. Because when we shift our thought process into understanding that we have a choice, that's a whole different level of living than being in cause and effect. Because cause and effect, oh, this happened to me, bam, this happened to me, bam. Then you're just like this, I don't know, I think like a pinball, bouncing around a pinball machine,
Yeah.
you know, like you're not in control of anything. And the only thing we ever really are in control of is ourselves. And we do have choices.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And we're only responsible for our own also. Like,
Yes.
going back to that energy thing, the energy, like so many times, are absorbed from other people, right? Like, and then our choices are based on somebody else's energy. And like, it's like this crazy little thing that happens off over here, when really we just need to be focused in on ourselves and make sure that we are in alignment. We're making our own choices. We're in our own lane.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And it is that, and that takes work. That takes practice. This is because what we're talking about is, we're talking about shifting how our thoughts, we're talking about shifting our thought process. And so when someone comes to me now, because I've been practicing this for a while. And so when someone comes to me with all that negative, poison coming out, my automatic reaction is, I start sending love out of my heart chakra, out of my heart zone. It's just flowing. Like I can see the beam of light coming out to them, because they need it more in that moment. They need it. But it takes practice to get to that space, because so many times we let, like you were saying, we let that negative energy into us, and then we're kind of, talking on that level, and we're letting that energy control us, and we're not really on that high flying disc that we want to be on, which is peaceful and calm and loving. We're down, I call it down messing around in the muck, because that's what it is. And the biggest thing that's going to keep us stirring around in the muck is our ego. And that's what we need to get past and move past, understanding that our ego does enjoy problems. It enjoys, creating problems for us, because problems keep us busy. We don't look at trying to move in our awareness, into our self-love or self-care, because we got all these problems, we got all this stuff, we've got all this.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. And and it can keep us just stirring around in that muck, stirring around down in fear, stirring around in anger, stirring around in just all of that type of negative energy, and it can consume us. And then that's how we speak, that's how we talk, that's how we act, that's what we're projecting. And all the people out there in the audience know, you've experienced this. Someone has walked up to you, and before they open their mouth, you can feel them. Mm-hmm. You can feel them. You're like, whoa. Or it could be the other way. You can feel them go, oh, that energy feels nice. Like, whoa. Because it's our energy zone. It surrounds us. And so, and it's showing up before we do. It's hitting into that person's, and I mean, everybody knows they felt it and they may not understand what it was, but they knew something threw their guard up like, ooh, something's wrong here.
Right? Yeah, all the like all the hair stands up on your arms, and you're like, ooh, turn the other way and go somewhere else.
Yes.
Don't engage in conversation with that person,
And then
right?
they start speaking and you go, oh, yeah, okay, I know now. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and I think like even in the grocery store, at your kids'
yes.
school, right? Going to whatever meeting you got to go to. We like, yeah, and we all know those people that comes in front of them, like long before you see them. Too.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Yes. And
Yeah,
and it's this whole thing of moving into this. I love, like, again, I'm going to say it. I love that you're doing the summer of self-love, because stepping into this space is us taking care of ourselves. Because until we fill our cup, we just don't have anything to give. You know, if our cup is flowing over with love and peace and joy, then that's just there for everybody. It's going to like ooze all over you and
right.
all over the people around you. But if you keep trying to give, and you don't fill yourself up first, well, what's going to happen? It's obvious what's going to happen. You can't keep depleting from something and not filling and not think that it's not going to affect you in a
Yeah,
negative way.
like continuing to take money out of the bank
Yes, it's a good
without
analogy.
making a deposit, and we
Yes,
all know what happens then,
and wondering why there's no money there. Yeah, exactly.
right?
But as long as we fill our cup, like starting our day with gratitude, like you and I were talking about, that's filling our cup. Then we have something to give. We're not going into depletion. There's plenty to give.
Yeah. Oh, I we could talk all day on
We can talk all
gratitude,
day.
giving, filling your cup, and how to raise your vibration. And oh my gosh, maybe that's just a whole nother conversation, Cheryl.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So I am loving. We are coming down hard on our end of our time, but this secret gateway to self love. One word.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
It's so important, isn't it?
It's so important because, like I said, there's nothing I know that shifts your energy as quickly from feeling bad, feeling awful, feeling like a victim, feeling like anything, into realizing, wow, look at everything I have. Look at, I'm so grateful. Look at, I'm so blessed. And boom, you can just feel your energy shift.
Yeah.
And then you can start working on all the other things.
That get work done. I know.
Yeah.
But only after you fill your cup, people.
We have to learn to fill our cup. We have to learn to do that and step into that real love. I'm not talking about romantic love because that has an opposite, love, hate. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real love of us all being connected. What connects us?
Yeah,
We can step into that and live in that space. That's when we step into our power, and that's when we know who we really are. And we can live fearlessly.
So good. Ah, so good. So, real quick, Cheryl, talk to us about how to find you. Do you have programs going on right now, speaking events that you're at, things that people might want to hang out in your space?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at Cheryl Piper Sends Love. That's
of course. That's your little
throwing out the love all the time. My website is CherylPiper.com, which is very simple. I kept it easy to remember. I've just rebranded myself. And I do have a few courses available on my website. It's available to work with me personally, work with a coach. There's a work with a coach area. And I have a Facebook Live show called Heart Mind Conversations that I do twice a week on Monday and Wednesdays at 1. And
it's
also
a great show, you guys.
Thank
Monday,
you.
Wednesday at 1 Eastern time, right?
1 Eastern time.
Yeah.
And then Sunday evening, I do a Sunday evening meditation to help people to get into the work week with a positive thought process so that they sleep well on Sunday night. They're not feeling stressed about Monday morning. And it's a quick meditation. It's only like 10 minutes. And that's
Yeah.
8 o'clock Eastern time. So
That's a beautiful thing too, people, to set yourself up. It's, what'd you say, 10, 15 minutes to set yourself up
yes,
strong to go into Monday morning and to be solid and grounded and ready to hit the floor running on Monday. I highly suggest
thank
hanging out on
you.
Sunday nights with Cheryl. Hey, when we're done, Cheryl, will you drop your links in the feed so people can just click and go find you
I
to
will
your
do
places?
that. I will do that.
I
Thank you
love that.
so much, everyone. I will keep monitoring. If you have any questions, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the rebroadcast, drop your questions in. I'll watch this and answer anything that you have.
As always, we always do that. We loop back around, we answer your questions and your comments. And you guys, thank you so much for being here on the Erin Strayer Show, where this is all about the summer of self-love. We've been live today. Jess, hey, good. Thanks so much. We've been live today with Cheryl Piper-Snyder, who is just, you guys need to hang out in her space and just pick up on more of her goodness. And we've been talking about the secret gateway to self-love today, which is gratitude. So I hope you've picked up some gold nuggets today, and this has been of massive value to you. Let us know. We'd like to know that. If you're watching the replay, please let us know that too. We'll say hi. We'll see you right back here again soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.